Hello everyone. For this session, what we are going to do is we are going to get the environment ready for you to download the hypervisor that you will need on your desktop or on your laptop in order to be able to host a virtual machine. In this case, the virtual machines that we are going to be hosting on your desktops or laptops are Windows Server 2012 and Windows Server 2016. So let's go to the first step. Conduct an internet search for Oracle Virtualbox. You can use any search engine to conduct the search. Bottom line, what you need to do is look for the oracle.com website as the result, and that is the one that you're going to click on. In this case, I have one already for the downloads, but it's oracle.com. Make sure that you go to the actual oracle.com website as one of the results. So in this case, I'm going to select Oracle VM VirtualBox for the download. And what you need to do is, as soon as that window loads on your computer or on your browser, what you will do is, depending on the operating system that you are running on your desktop or your laptop, you're going to select the right installation file. So in my case, I'm running Windows 10, and I can prove that to you by let's see, you can see right here that I'm running Windows 10 on my computer. It is a laptop, so I'm going to select the Windows platform, and I'm going to select the Windows installer. So those are the installation files for Oracle VM VirtualBox. So if you're using Mac OS, meaning you have an Apple laptop, then you're going to select the DMG image as the installation files for Oracle VM VirtualBox. So again, since I am running Windows 10, I can select Windows Installer, and as soon as I click on that, I just need to select Save Files. And this option is available to me because I am running Firefox as my browser, so that is the interface or the graphical user interface that you're going to get if you're using Firefox. You may get a different interface if you're using Google Chrome, for example, or if you're using Microsoft Edge as your internet browser, you may get a different window coming up asking you to save the file. Bottom line, you need to save it, and in my case, it's gonna go to the downloads folder. Once that is completed, and I'm going to wait for that to complete, I just need to go to the downloads folder for my system. It is about to complete, so I'm gonna wait 13 seconds. So if I go to the downloads folder, which is the one that I am showing you right here, and if I maximize that, as soon as the download is complete, I'm going to see the file right here. So it is the VirtualBox 6.1.16. That is the version of the software that I downloaded, and all I need to do is just double click on that. In my case, I already have VirtualBox installed in my system, so you're going to get the if you have that installed in your system already, you may get an uninstall option given to you throughout the installation of the software. But for the people that don't have VirtualBox installed on your desktop or laptop, this will be the first time. Just go through the defaults by clicking on Next, Next, Next. Do not change any of the custom settings that you may be prompted to review as part of the installation. Just go with all the defaults, next, all the way to finish. Once you complete the installation, and I am not going to do it because again, I already installed VirtualBox on my system. Let me click on finish. Okay, once you get the Oracle VirtualBox installed, this is the software that will be available to you. So Oracle VM VirtualBox Manager will be the option that you can click on, and that will become your hypervisor type 2 that you can run on your Windows system or on your Apple Mac system, if you have one, and that will be the container in which all the virtual machines will reside. In this case, we are looking to install Windows Server 2012 and Windows Server 2016. So this completes step 1 of the installation process, the download of the software for Oracle VM VirtualBox Manager and the installation of that software on your system. Once that installation completes and you open the software, this is what you're supposed to see, except for you are not going to have any VMs or virtual machines listed here. I already have 5 because that's what I have been using for quite some time already. You will have none listed here, so don't be surprised if you don't see anything on the left pane right here, the one that I am pointing at. So that concludes step 1. Now let's move to step number 2. That will be the download of Microsoft Windows Server 2012. And for that, I'm going to conduct an internet search, a web search for Microsoft Evaluation Center. So you can use Google if you prefer to use Google. I don't like for Google to keep track of all the internet searches that I am conducting, so that is why I use a different search engine by the name of DuckDuckGo, and that is the engine or the icon that you see right here. So the Microsoft Evaluation Center is the search field or search text that I entered, and this is the result, Microsoft Evaluation Center from Microsoft.com. As soon as I click on that, what I need to do is I need to look for products, and since you are looking for Windows Server, just click on Windows Server. Do not worry about the version yet. Just click on Windows Server. Actually, you will need to go to Windows Server 2019, I believe. Yep. So once you click on Windows Server 2019, if you scroll down, you will be able to find Windows Server 2012 and Windows Server 2016. In order to get a better experience using the Microsoft Evaluation Center, it is important for you to sign in. So you may need to sign in to Microsoft if you want to get the best experience using the site. So let us see if the system forces us to sign in. I'm not going to sign in right now, even though I have an account. It is free, so you don't have to pay anything. All you need to do is provide your email address and your full name and basic information. So I'm going to select Windows Server 2012. And what I want to do is, and this is the important piece as part of step number 2, remember we are in step number 2, so you need to select ISO or ISO. That is the ISO file, which is the installation file for Windows Server 2012 R2. And remember, you need to look for Windows Server 2012 R2. Do not go with the Essentials. Essentials doesn't give you the full Windows experience for the server, so you need to go with Windows Server 2012 R2, and the evaluation is good for 180 days, about 6 months. So you will be able to use it for the entire semester at Tunsis, and it is free. There is no need for you to worry about that. So if you click on continue, you are going to be prompted to enter your first name, last name, company name. You can enter Tunsis Community College if you want. Company size, about 200 people. That's irrelevant. It's not going to change anything. The job title, you can use academic or a student because you are a student. And then the work email, that will be your Tunsis Community College email address. Your phone number, you can enter a fake number, doesn't matter as long as it matches the number of digits that you need for a phone number. Nobody's gonna call you. And then the country will be USA. And then you click on continue, and you will be prompted to save the file. So in my case, if I remember well, I already completed that step, so I have the save file in my downloads, and it is the Windows Server 2016 file that you see right here, the one that I am highlighting. And this is the Windows Server 2012 ISO or ISO file that I downloaded from the Microsoft Evaluation Center a few days ago. So those are the two files, Server 2012 and Windows Server 2016, that you will need to download from the Microsoft Evaluation Center, and make sure that you save them in your hard drive on your computer and have it handy and ready to use as part of step number 3. But we are still in step number 2. Remember, I asked you to download Windows Server 2012 R2 and then Windows Server 2016. This is the one that you need to select. Do not go with Hyper-V, do not go with any other option like Essentials, go with Windows Server 2016 plain. So those are the two files. If you click here, you will be prompted to select what kind of file you want to download. Again, you're going to go with the ISO or ISO file and then click on continue. You will be entering your information here and then continue, and at that point you will be asked to save the file on your computer. So once you have those two files, 2012 and 2016, on your computer, we move to step number 3. Step number 3 is the following. You go back to Oracle VM VirtualBox Manager, and you're going to click on Machine, and you're going to select New. And once you are in this window, you're going to type in, for example, Windows Server 2012, and that automatically, as soon as you enter that name, the last field right here will automatically change to Windows 2012 64-bit, because the software is smart enough to know that you are going to deploy a virtual machine that is running Windows Server 2012. Then you click on Next, and then you're going to leave the memory at that setting, the default setting, which is 2 gigabytes, and then you click on Next. The hard disk, you go with a default, creating a virtual hard disk now, which is the option that is highlighted or selected right now. Click on Create. And then there are different types of hard disk that you can create. You can go with VMDK, which is the one that is used by, let's say, VMware as the hypervisor. But in this case, we are fine with VDI. We are not going to move this virtual machine to any other hypervisor, so there is no need for us to worry about that. So we are going to keep it at VDI, which is the default. We click on Next. Dynamically allocated. This means the space on the hard drive, your hard drive for your desktop or laptop, will be dynamically allocated, meaning whenever it is needed, it is going to be grabbed by VirtualBox Manager. It's not going to dedicate any space on your hard drive for the virtual machine, because we don't want to waste the space that you have on your hard drive. So we go with dynamically allocated. We click on Next, and then for the size of the hard drive, space that you're going to utilize for this VM, go with 10 gigabytes. Actually 12 gigabytes, anywhere close to 12 gigabytes. So in my case, I'm choosing 11.66 gigabytes. That should be good enough. I click on Create, and I have a new Windows Server 2012 created right here, but it's not installed yet. So what I need to do is, as soon as this option comes up, which is the new virtual machine that I just created with you, I'm going to right click on Windows Server 2012, select Settings from the drop down menu, and then this new window will come up. And here in this window, what I need to do is look for storage. As soon as I click on storage, there is an empty option that you should see under the middle pane. So you click on empty, and then look for this arrow right here to the right and click on that. Now you should be able to choose a disk file and select the Windows Server 2012 ISO file, the ISO file that you downloaded from the Microsoft Evaluation Center earlier as part of step number 2. You will be able to select it from the location in maybe your downloads folder, for example, that you use to save the file. In my case, I already have that option right here because the software is remembering that I put the Windows 2012 file in that location. So I have that option here. But if you want to look for it, all you need to do is choose a disk file and then search for the downloads folder. or any other folder that you selected for the to save the file, the Windows 2012 ISO, and then look for the ISO file. In this case, if I maximize this a little bit, you're going to see it is a Power ISO file, ISO. So this is the one for 2012, so all I need to do is just highlight it and then click on Open. And now this second option is listed here as the ISO file. Click on OK. And now I'm going to start this virtual machine. So I highlight the virtual machine that I just created, and then I click on Start. You're going to see the virtual machine being started by the software. Let's see. This is the window that I am getting in my second monitor, so I want to show you. So it's asking me to choose the file that I want to select. So in my case, I'm using Windows Server 2012, which is this file here. I click on Start. And then this is the window that comes up, Windows Server 2012. And this is the installation of Windows Server operating system on the virtual machine. So it is installing Windows Server as we speak. So make sure that you double check and verify that the Windows Server installation is running. So this is the first setup screen that you're going to get in your virtual machine, Windows Server 2012. So it's asking you to go through the setup menu or setup option for Windows Server 2012. Just make sure that you select English US, then click on Next, and then you're going to select Install Now. And after you select Install Now, you're going to see that it's going to take a few seconds, and it's going to run you through all the different menu options for the installation. Now, the one that I need you to select is the second one, Windows Server 2012 R2 Standard Evaluation. And if you maximize this or expand it, you're going to see that it says with a GUI. What does that mean with a GUI? A GUI is a graphical user interface. You must verify that you are selecting the option for Windows Server 2012 Standard that has the graphical user interface. If you happen to make the mistake and select the first one, you're only going to get Windows Server 2012 at the command prompt. So you're not gonna be able to get any graphical user interface. So make sure that you select Server with a GUI and then click on Next and go with the standard. Don't go with the data center. Data center is power and memory resource hungry, so it's going to consume a lot of memory and resources from your computer. So go with the standard evaluation, Server with a GUI, click on Next, and then accept the license terms, click on Next. And here, make sure that you select Install Windows Only. You're not upgrading, you're installing Windows from scratch. You go with the space that you allocated. You may remember that I said about 12 gigabytes, so I selected 11.7, and then I click on Next. And it's going to copy, get all the files ready, and then install Windows Server 2012 and finish the installation, and then you should be good to go with the basic Windows Server 2012 installation as a virtual machine on your computer. As a homework, what I need you to do is follow the same steps, but not for Windows Server 2012, but for Windows Server 2016, which is the second ISO or ISO file that I asked you to download. So once you have those two virtual machines, they will come up here in the form of Windows Server 2012, and right below that you will have Windows Server 2016. This is the second time that I am installing Windows Server 2012. That is why you see two Windows 2012 servers in my Oracle VirtualBox Manager. Do not worry that you're only going to see two entries in your Oracle VirtualBox Manager. One will be Windows Server 2012 when you finish it, and then Windows Server 2016 when you finish the installation. All the other options, everything that you see above the highlighted blue that I have here, you're not gonna see on your computer because you're not using those VMs as I am. I created those VMs for different purposes aside from this course, so don't worry about not having any of these top options. Only 2012 and 2016 will be needed. All right, with that, I'm going to make sure that I post this video on Blackboard via YouTube. Check it out. Repeat it as many times as you need to, and by Sunday night, and Sunday, if I remember well, is the 31st. By Sunday, January 31st, you must have Windows Server 2012 and Windows Server 2016 fully installed as virtual machines on your desktop or laptop. You're not going to run into any issues unless you try to use those two virtual machines at the same time. Don't do it, because you may require a very powerful system, like a very powerful laptop or desktop. As long as you run one at a time, you're going to be fine, because it's not going to consume too much resources from your system. Okay, so by January 31st, Sunday night, you must have those two operating systems installed in the form of virtual machines on your desktop and laptop, and be ready for Monday when I post the next video that is going to show you how to do some of the administration aspects of those two servers, especially the installation of an additional service that we are going to talk about next week. Thank you very much, and until next time.